Oh, hey there, this is Dr. Evan Osar with Integrative Movement Insider. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great start to your week. We're on to part 3 of our 3-part series of training female clients in female-specific conditions. In part 1, we discussed the pelvic floor. We discussed how the pelvic floor muscles work and how you can utilize specific activation of the pelvic floor and also breathing to improve pelvic floor function and help so many female clients that are dealing with stress urinary incontinence. In part 2, we had our fellow geek, Janice Maddock, come on and discuss women during their menstrual cycle, because we know that women have had at least 2 to 3, and I think I saw a resource that said 5 times the risk of ACL tears, and it may be possibly linked to the menstrual cycle and what point of their cycle these injuries, these non-contact injuries, are having. So we talk about that, and then how to help your female clients if it is related to their menstrual cycle and or if it's related to past injuries. This week, we're super excited to bring you the anatomy of bone health as it relates to your female clients that have osteopenia and or osteoporosis. I just read yesterday that 8 million women in the United States, many more than men, have osteoporosis, and that's not even counting osteopenia. There's lots of reasons why females have this issue, women have this issue. Obviously, the 3 foundations. So the 3 foundations for developing bone health is number 1, nutrition. You have to help your female clients, at least educate them on proper nutrition. Now, you have to follow your doctor's recommendations. However, many doctors just tell your clients, hey, take calcium. Well, there's much more than calcium that helps develop bone density. Again, I'm not qualified to speak on it. I'm not a nutritionist. That's not my area of expertise. However, I do work with a nutritionist who isn't more of an expert on it than I am, much more of an expert than I am. I actually did an interview with her for this week's series, or this week's episode, on osteopenia and osteoporosis. So Sherry discussed some of the things that helps calcium absorb, including the type of calcium that you need, and things that help, or I should say, prevent your body from absorbing calcium. One of the easy things, or the most common reasons why so many of our older clients do not absorb calcium, is because they're on proton pump inhibitors or other types of medication that decrease stomach acid. You need a certain pH, a certain stomach acid, to absorb calcium and many of the minerals. Without it, you will not absorb calcium. So that's one issue that you may want to educate yourself more on and or discuss with your female clients. Again, we're not recommending get off those medications. However, I would highly suggest figuring out why your client needs those medications and then help them with a strategy to move away from that. Work with a qualified nutritionist to help you make that decision for your client that's appropriate for your specific client. Number 2, the second reason why women may have issues with osteopenia and osteoporosis are hormone levels. So obviously, as women get older, their hormones change, as do men, same thing, there's no difference there. However, the hormone estrogen is, and I'm sure it's the other hormones too, but just the estrogen has been linked to decrease in bone density. Now, I'm reading some research on that right now, so I'm not sure if it's 100% osteoporosis. However, hormones are also. Now, obviously, again, we're not impacting hormones from a nutritional and or supplemental and or medication standpoint, but again, your client can work with their doctor and or nutritionist to figure out the program that's appropriate for them to address their hormones. The third foundation, the third pillar of bone health, is weight-bearing activity, and specifically weight-bearing exercise resistance type training. That's where you and I come in, because we are the experts on that aspect. What we have to do a better job of, myself included, we have to do a better job of educating our clients as to the type of exercise. I just read a research article from 2018, I read it this morning, and it talked about how walking is not enough for bone density. Now, if your client's not doing anything, walking is an improvement. So as we talk about these exercises and the best exercise for bone density, it's relative to your client. So I'm going to share with you what I believe is one of the best exercises, but again, there's so many great exercises for bone density. So if your client isn't very active, well, getting them more active is a step in the right direction. So if walking's not great, or maybe that's all your client can do. Well, they can only walk. They can't squat because of their knees, or they have back issues, whatever it may be. Well, one of the things that we talked about in the last edition of 2 Anatomy Geeks is how to get your clients walking faster. That actually walking faster is related to the decrease in all-cause mortality. So it's not just walking more. Many of our clients should walk more for sure. I'm not suggesting they shouldn't walk more. It's more important that they walk faster. So how do your clients walk faster? Well, number one, you can improve their posture so that way they can pick their feet up, because if your client's walking like this, they can't pick their foot up very high because of there's stuff in the way, and you're not actually using the muscles appropriately to actually get the hip flexors to actually lift the leg up higher. So work on posture so that your client can get their hip up. You can work on hip flexor and extensor strengthening so that they can actually move their hip more effectively. So they can stabilize on single leg better, so they can transfer that balance into a faster walking gait. You can teach them how to carry. Carrying is a great pattern to improve walking speed and also increase bone density. Hey Tyler, my good buddy Tyler is on. He's doing some great work out there in Arizona. So, improve posture. Get your clients walking faster. The other thing that you really want to get your clients doing, and again, this will not be appropriate for every single client, is you have to do some dynamic type activities. You have to get your clients moving their body off the ground. That's why walking faster is actually better, because they're taking more steps. It's actually, I need to find the research, but I know it's out there because I've read it at some point. It's the ground reaction. It's the reaction of your foot hitting the ground, and as hard, I think it's Newton's, one of his first laws, maybe his second law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So as hard as your foot is hitting the ground, that force is then transferred back into your body. It's that counter force that's coming back through your body, which actually stimulates, they believe it stimulates the blood flow inside the cells of your bones, and that's what actually gives the bones the signal to, hey, lay down and create more bone density. So we need our clients actually creating more impact on the ground so they have more of those ground reaction forces. Now, having said that, you have to set your clients up for success. You can't just say, hey, you know what, you're walking around like this, Mrs. Jones, let's do some jumping. I mean, you could, but probably not a great idea. So you want to set your clients up for success. So work on your corrective exercises and your postural training to get your clients in the best alignment so that they can do some more dynamic type movements. Now, for some of your clients, let me grab a chair here. For some of your clients, it may just be as simple, their dynamic activity could just be a sit to stand. So for them, it's just sit, get up fast, come back down, get up fast, come back down. So that's their dynamic exercise, right? Because that's dynamic compared to what they would normally be doing. So that's their progression, okay? For other clients, that's not enough, or they progress beyond that point. So for those clients, a very simple progression from that is just do a very small squat jump. So very small, very low height. Just get their feet off the ground. You can even just get the heels off the ground and come back down. So heels off the ground, come back down. You can't see my heels, but my toes are sitting down and just lifting the heels. Again, that contact of the heel coming back down, again, is that ground reaction force through that movement. And obviously for your more advanced clients, you can do higher squat jumps, you can jump up onto boxes, you can do stepping. Another option for you is, if you're doing some carries, is have your client step up and over something, because then they have to step up, balance, control, come down, and again, it's that ground contact with some extra load in their hands. Obviously, you're going to do all the great things you know how to do to make sure that their carry patterns are optimal and they're maintaining optimal alignment and control through the carry patterns, through the jumps, whatever exercise that you are doing. So I hope that gives you some ideas. We have to train our clients more dynamically. You can do lateral or frontal plane lateral hops. So just have them do a quick step, quick step, quick step. Again, get them moving in different planes. You can have them do a turn, and then you can make it more dynamic. So just lateral hop. Again, get them moving dynamically. Again, it actually creates more of a muscle pull, that eccentric pull on the muscles. Maybe even a little bit of isometric as well. Isometric to eccentric pull on the muscles. That also will help increase bone density, increases muscle mass, increases the type 2 fibers as well, which is also important. Sarcopenia is another part that goes along with osteopenia and osteoporosis. So again, we're getting a lot of training components. It also helps your client reduce their risk of falls, because one of the most important things that I remember I was lecturing with a colleague of mine, and it makes sense, right? I didn't even think of it, but it basically he said the best way not to break a bone, don't fall. I'm like, whoa, that's genius, right? Don't fall. Now, we know our older clients will fall. However, if we can do, I know we can do, not if we can help our clients avoid falls and or reduce the risk of them falling. And then give them the ability to move their limbs faster, move their body faster, more dynamically, that allows them, if they trip, which we're all gonna do, we trip on the sidewalk, we trip on the carpet, to step out, catch ourselves before the fall. That will also help prevent fractures, falls and or fractures as well. So I hope this gave you some ideas, some things to think about, and more importantly, to empower you to educate your clients, educate your potential clients, because there's so many people out there that need your expertise and need this information to take a big burden out of the healthcare system and really give people great information. Because again, there's too many medical professionals for many different reasons. Maybe the lack of education, lack of time. Like I was just talking to a colleague of mine. She said a friend of hers who's a medical doctor literally got written up because he was spending too much time. He works mostly with the older population. He was written up by his hospital for spending too much time with patients. And again, this is not all doctors, but again, that's the system we live in. So then it's on you and I to get out to our communities, get out to our families, get out to our friends, and educate them on the importance of weight-bearing exercise, dynamic exercise, and then also ways to make exercise and activity fun. Dancing is another great way because again, it's dynamic, it's moving through multiple planes. I would dance here for you, but you quickly tune out. So I'll spare you my dancing. But dancing, a lot of clients love dancing. So again, I see a lot of some trainers online doing some dancing with their clients. That's awesome, it's fun, it's incorporating things that they like to do as well. So many different dynamic ways to be creative with this idea and to give your clients what they need: increase bone density, increase muscle mass, increase reaction time, as well as just better overall coordination and a sense of confidence that they can go out, move around without the risk of falling and or having a serious injury related to the fall. We would love to have you on Two Anatomy Geeks if you'd like to be part of this. This is part 3 coming up this Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. All 3 sessions are recorded, or the first 2 sessions have been recorded, so you can check them out if you have not watched it. The important thing about this Two Anatomy Geeks is we want you to learn the anatomy. So we'll talk about the anatomy of bone, how bones are formed, how bones are broken down, what happens to cause so much of this osteoporosis and or osteopenia, and more importantly, how can we use exercise strategically, evidence-based exercise. So it's not just like, hey, throw some exercise at your client and hope it works, but we'll look through the evidence, the research to say what does the research say? What do we know about osteoporosis and osteopenia and exercise, and can we actually help our clients? We can. Can we actually help our clients that are already at a high risk and or already have osteoporosis? So this is Dr. Osar. I put the link below or above, wherever you're watching this video on Facebook. The link is there. If you're watching on YouTube, the link will be there as well. So thank you so much for being part of our community. Thank you for all you do for your clients. And go out there and be the leaders that your community needs. Get out there and educate people, empower people, speak with confidence, speak with humility, and let's go be the leader that our communities need. Make it a great day. Thanks again for being part of our community. This is Dr. Osar. Take care.